18 teams. We got 18 teams playing out in Las Vegas in front of, I think what most would agree, lackluster crowds, and with a format that most normal people either do not understand or more likely have no interest, just don't care enough to even try to understand. The title game, either way, is tonight, Gonzaga, Michigan. That should be fun. But a title game of Gonzaga, Michigan means that Tennessee just went 2-0 in the Players Era Festival, beat the highest-ranked team in the entire event. That was Houston, and still couldn't make the championship game because of point differential. UT beat Rutgers by 25 and Houston by 3, but Gonzaga beat Alabama by 10 and Maryland by 39, beat Michigan by San Diego, and then Michigan beat San Diego State by 40, Auburn by 30. So it's Gonzaga, Michigan for $1 million, and Tennessee only gets to play for $300,000. Never mind that it's undefeated with a win over the best team in the event. I think that summarizes things. KB, do you agree that this is goofy, or do you want to argue with me?
No, of course it's goofy. It makes no sense. I mean, we had Norlander wrote an overnight column on CBSSports.com, which I think kind of struck to the heart of the situation. Or I think you could argue the debacle, which is like, it is so confusing. It really does not make sense. It doesn't award what I believe is, the best teams. And so when you go away from a bracket format, you end up in a situation where Tennessee, which, as you noted, arguably had the best win of the week. They beat Houston, but they're playing in the third place game, despite winning both of their games. You have Iowa State completely missing on a chance to play for money today, because of, a late Dylan Mitchell bucket in a St. John's game that was largely inconsequential, or running out the clock versus Creighton when maybe they should have run up the score. And I guess on one hand, I get it. Like, you're playing and the rules. The rules are, it is point differential, but this is what happens when you veer away from tradition, from norms, and from the proven format of playing in a bracket. You get a situation where I think Iowa State fans would argue the best team is not playing for the championship in this event. I think Tennessee fans would argue the best team is not playing for the championship in this event. And I don't know if I would argue that necessarily. I think Gonzaga and Michigan have played very well, but when you don't get a chance to kind of prove yourself, and it comes down to a situation where you are determining advancing based off one criteria, which is scoring differential, you end up in a situation where it's confusing. It makes no sense. And on top of that, the crowds have been lackluster. It has just been kind of a cluster in many ways this week, JP.
Yeah, I tweeted, I guess, a couple of days ago with a clip from Sunday's episode, and I think I used the word flourishing, like that the Players Era Festival is flourishing, while the Maui Invitational is clearly struggling with its worst field arguably ever. And there was a little pushback, like, what do you mean flourishing? I'm watching this thing. There's nobody there. What I mean by flourishing is they're getting most of the best programs that they want to come there. And it's making things more difficult for Maui, and perhaps impossible, or at least deadly for the battle for Atlantis. So is it flourishing in the sense that, oh man, this is awesome, look at it? No, I don't like what I see either. But it is collecting the best programs in America and bringing them to Las Vegas for a few days. But the format is just goofy. And if you have a tournament where somebody can go undefeated, beat the perceived best team in your event, and not play for the championship game, you don't really have a tournament. You just got something that doesn't make sense to any sort of normal thinking person. And what I hate more than this not making sense, because I could actually understand on some level where you go, let's give it a try. I would have told you not to give this a try. Keep in mind, none of this is hindsight stuff. I said this on Sunday. I said, this is all goofy. And now here we are. The whole world's saying it's goofy. I would have told you in the meeting last year when you're planning this that this is goofy, and the reaction you're getting is the reaction you're going to get. But if you wanted to just give it a try, then whatever, give it a try. Maybe you're smarter than I am. I would like it if they would now at least acknowledge that their way of doing things is nonsensical to basketball fans. But that's not what they're doing. right. Norlander had the column overnight from Las Vegas. He's out there. And there's a quote from one of the co-founders, a guy named Seth Berger. And here's the quote. We do something different. So actually, you're not just watching the same thing you've been watching every November, just with more teams. We're trying to bring November basketball to more casual fans. So clearly, one of the things we have to do is continue educating about why our format is unique and it's exciting. In this format, every shot matters, every basket matters, every minute matters. End quote. That's ridiculous. That's you doubling down on this thing that the whole world is telling you they don't like. Why are you doing that? Like, we're all telling you this doesn't make sense. And it's not just me, it's do a Twitter search for your format. See what pops up. And you're trying, and you know what that translates to? No. You guys just don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
You guys don't understand how exciting this is. You don't understand what you're watching. So we've got to do a better job of making you understand how awesome this idea is.
Right.
Buddy, I dare you to do this again next year. Bring your exciting format back next year. You'll have the same reaction next year. This is simple. Next year, they say they're going to have 32 teams. I believe them. What's 32 divided by 4? Do some math for me, KB.
8.
Okay, perfect. Let's do 4 8-team tournaments. 4 little 8-team tournaments. I don't care who's in which one, but it'll look the way it's supposed to look. You'll have a bracket, and these teams will play each other, and the winner will go here, and the loser will go here, and we know how that works. We've been doing that at least in Maui since 1984. That's the way you do if you do this event if you want to have 32 teams. But if you want to keep trying to tell us we just don't understand your exciting format, we're not sophisticated enough to understand how exciting this thing we're watching is. Keep doing that, you'll keep getting the same type of pushback. You could just admit a mistake and correct it. But if you want to double down, well, then you'll get I'm telling you now what you'll get next year. In fairness, they do say also that they are open-minded to anything, that everything's on the table. Nothing is set in stone. So hopefully they recognize that this format is not nearly as exciting as you are trying to tell people. It's confusing. In every way he thinks it's exciting, it's just confusing. Just something exciting and insert confusing, and then you got a better quote.
Yeah, and I think you've said it well this week, JP. I've been nodding along, agreeing with everything you've said. I don't blame the programs for taking the money, right? Like, in today's college basketball world, money literally buys talent. And, as a result, it might literally buy wins. Like, you need it to survive. You need it to adapt in this era. I think my issue is the soullessness that comes with it. Yeah. Like, there is no accountability necessarily. Like, you have the owners of the event coming out and saying, like, hey, you just don't understand the format. You don't see the vision. And we're screaming. We've been college basketball fans our whole life. And I think the product of, private equity meddling in a sport that is built on tradition, it just feels icky, right? You've got the half empty Vegas arenas, the confusing non-bracket tournament format. You've got talk of expansion going into next year with 32 teams. All of it comes at the expense, of course, of like the Maui Invitational, the Battle for Atlantis, which I think is where I really have a problem. And GP, I fell in love with college basketball because it had soul, right? Like, I grew up rooting for Oklahoma State because Gallagher-Iba was packed under Eddie Sutton, right? I rooted for big personalities like Tony Allen and Byron Eaton, and in front of electrifying crowds. Like, I stormed the court there. I sweat my buns off there. That kind of energy has not existed in Vegas this week. It doesn't exist elsewhere. You don't get that in the NFL. You don't get that in the NBA. And college basketball is special because of those environments, like the personalities and the traditions. Like, that's why this trend bothers me. We've already watched, the allure of money kill things like Bedlam and other major rivalries, right? Because of because of NIL, because of the allure of money, because of expansion. And now it feels like more traditions could be next. Like, I think March Madness is sacred, obviously. So I worry, of course, about that because there's talks of expanding the NCAA tournament bracket. But college basketball is special, like, not just because of March Madness, right? Like, it's special because the Izzone in East Lansing, like the Jungle at Auburn, Allen Fieldhouse in Lawrence, like where James Naismith laid the groundwork for the sport that we love. And like strip those things away, you're left with like this hollow, soulless product that we've seen in Vegas where like it is just not the product that I think a lot of college basketball fans want to see. It's not the product that I think we've grown to adore and love. And this version of what we've seen this week, I hope it is tweaked. I hope it is perfected. I think there's some good ideas around it. But I think, for a lot of college basketball fans, and for me in particular, like it creates kind of a conflict about how we feel about the sport and how we feel about like the trajectory of where like all of this is going exactly.
First, I just love that you grew up idolizing Tony Allen, because like now I see him every week. He's like he's in the building every week. So I need to tell him that he needs to know that he was properly appreciated as a one-time Big 12 Player of the Year.
That's right.
Beyond that, you make good points everywhere. Like you, I don't blame anybody for taking the money. As I'm sitting here, expressing complaints with the format and other aspects of this, I don't blame Kelvin Sampson for taking his program to Las Vegas. I don't blame Mark Few for taking his program to Las Vegas. They're making real money with the opportunity to make more. And when the alternative to that is pay real money to go somewhere else, well, that seems like an easy decision to me. Like Kelvin Sampson quite literally said, we had no choice. When presented with this opportunity, we have to go. Have you seen our budget? And I think you could probably apply that same quote to most of the programs that are out there. And so it is sensible for everybody to go. My argument is that there's just better ways to do this. And I do think a massive miscalculation, perhaps that's too strong of a word. Let's just say miscalculation, strike the massive. A miscalculation by the event organizers is that if you get a bunch of the best college basketball teams in the country and bring them to Las Vegas, then people will be eager to fill up the arena all day long and watch this stuff. And that's just not the way this works. You ever watch the Thursday, Friday of the NCAA tournament? Unless you got Duke, Carolina, and Greensboro, you're going to end up with some empty arenas, because here's what most college basketball fans want to do. You ready for this? They want to watch their team. And you know what they want to do after that? Go have a good time. And maybe if you're in Greensboro, it's like, well, what else are we going to do besides watch the basketball game that's coming up next? But you are in Las Vegas. There's a million other things to do. And so I can just tell you as a college basketball fan, if I were traveling to Las Vegas, I'm a Kansas fan. I want to go see the Jayhawks. I'm going to go watch the Jayhawks play. And then just as soon as that game's over, I'm looking at my watch going, you know what? Like, you want to go see what's going on at the pool? Hey, we can watch this at the sports book and play some blackjack. I'm getting out of there. So it's just, I'll be shocked if you ever look up and it's like Players Era Festival. It's noon on Monday and we got a top 10 matchup and it's packed. Right. That's just not what's going to happen. People want to watch their teams and they don't want to watch the other teams when given the opportunity to do all of the other things that are in Las Vegas. So it's always going to look about the way it looks. And I see some tweets from some people talking about, oh man, this is good. No, it's not. You're lying to yourself. It might be better than it was last year, but that's like grading on a curve, man. Like that better than it was last year. That just means it doesn't suck as much as it sucked last year. What it's supposed to look like is the way Maui looks every year when, before it got put into this situation that it's put in. It's supposed to look like something big's happening. It's supposed to sound like something important's happening. No, it doesn't either. It doesn't check either one of those boxes. You use the word soulless. That makes sense to me. And yeah, the format thing, just to circle back to that, you better not double down on this. You go to a bracket, as Nicole Auerbach pointed out on Twitter. There is no sport, literally no sport, more closely associated with a bracket than college basketball. Yeah. And you have it. You think you've got the best in-season college basketball event, but you don't have a bracket. That just doesn't make any sense. You need a bracket. If you want to have 32 next year, I said this on Sunday. You've got 18 teams this year. You should have taken 16 and had 18 tournaments.
Right.
Next year, you say you're going to have 32. Fine with me. I don't care. But break it up. 8 teams, 8 teams, 8 teams, 8 teams. Give me 4 little brackets. Now I got something we can predict. I got something I can map out. I got something where I can say, man, on Wednesday, if this happens and this happens and this happens and this happens, I can't wait to watch that game. I said on Sunday, I wrote on Tuesday morning, it's impossible to even try to predict who's going to be in the championship game. If there's a championship game on Wednesday, by Tuesday, I should have a good idea who's going to be in it. I woke up Tuesday, no idea who's going to be in this thing. Turns out there's 5 undefeated teams in the Players Era Festival, but only 2 of them can play for the championship. Iowa State gets completely iced out. It's just every aspect of it is goofy. Congrats on getting a bunch of good teams to come play in your event. But after that, everything you did after that makes no sense to anybody who cares about this stuff.